Okay, we are now live.
Should be a little bird in their game.
What's the time? The minute behind everybody else. Yes. Come on, one of these.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Environment and Services Committee of Weymouth Town Council today on Wednesday, the 29th of May. I've been asked, the outgoing chair of this committee, to take item 1 on the agenda this evening, which is the confirmation of the chairman of the Environment and Services Committee. The members are asked to confirm the election of the chairman of the Environment and Services Committee, agree the full council on the 15th of May 2024. And therefore, I propose that we nominate Councillor Nat Spence. Is there a seconder? Councillor Louis O'Leary, thank you. Is there any other nominations? No. Apologies about this. Like most of us, the battery's going on this at the moment. So, with no other nominations, I ask for a vote, please, to nominate Councillor Matt Bell, the chairman of the Environment Services Committee. All those in favour, show of hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kirsty. So we move on in the agenda. The next item, item 2, is the election of vice chair of the Environmental and Services Committee. Environment and Services Committee. I would like to, by making a nomination, I would like to put forward Councillor Ryan Hope for the position of vice chair. Give a bit of detail as to why I'm putting Ryan forward. He has sat as chair of this committee previously, brings with him a wealth of experience about decisions made in the past, the rationale for those.
I think it's a system, it must be a system issue.
So Ryan's able to bring a wealth of knowledge about the systems in place, working with the staff members. That will undoubtedly be invaluable for the committee and also help provide guidance for me as chair. With new councillors, Ryan will be able to fulfil that role very well, in my opinion. Is there a seconder for that nomination? Thank you, Councillor Toft. Are there any other nominations for Vice Chair of Environment and Services? Seems like a no. So should we move to the vote? So can I have a show of hands, please, for all those in favour of Ryan Hope for Vice Chair?
Thank you.
At this juncture, due to events outside of this chamber and the general election, I'm going to be passing into the vice chair at this point. So that we can just ensure everything's done properly and that we're not influenced by outside events. I think that's the right thing to do. Circumstances at the moment, given my activities outside of this chamber. I'm going to pass over to the vice chair now, and I'll be assuming the seats to the side of the chamber, along with the rest of you.
Okay, thank you very much. Short break away there. So whilst Councillor Bell takes the seat, we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. Item 3 this evening is apologies for absence. I know chambers are here, so there's no apologies. Which is strange, I don't think I've had a meeting, but nothing to note, nothing to propose. So we should just note that there's no apologies. Moving on to item 4, declarations of interest. Nikki, have we received any declarations of interest, please?
Nothing like live this evening, although I don't even have any interest in the pre-planned implementation.
As Nikki said, I have a non-pecuniary interest in item 8 this evening, which is the free parking allocations. As I'm a member and trustee of. Sorry,
I have a non-pecuniary interest in the, I don't know, I think it's an information item on there, the Livermore skate park. I'm interested in the front skate park, which may be.
Thank you very much for noting. Is there any other declarations of interest? They are noted. And of course, members, if anything does come up during the discussions this evening, you can of course make a declaration at any point. Moving on to item 5 of the agenda, which is the minutes of the last meeting. Committee are asked to approve the minutes of the last meeting held on the 6th of March 2024, to be true and accurate record. Members, you are reminded that you don't need to, you haven't had to have been present at that committee. All you're doing at the moment is proving that they're true. If there's no comments, I'll ask for a proposer, please. Councillor Matt Bell. Is there a seconder to that? Councillor Taylor is now. I do apologise, I'm going to struggle with names slightly this evening. There's no comments on that. Show of hands in all, please. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6 this evening, which are councillor questions. I believe we actually have a couple of councillor questions, don't we? Those councillors who have. Okay, first of all, we'll take Councillor Atkinson.
It's coming on and then it's going on.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I have 3 questions that are related to do with bathing, particularly winter bathing, particularly because I think that favours residents and is particularly well-being, and perhaps particularly for female. Because most lot of these bathing. Let's ask 3 questions and then we'll get some replies and then discussion. 2 of them. I want to know what progress the town council has made with working towards the installation of an algorithm-based water quality monitoring in Weymouth Bay, somewhat close to the Bay. I ask that because both Bournemouth and Boston have such devices still recently. Second question is, whatever monitoring is starts, could it be carried through the year, not just in the bathing season? And the third question related to commercial opportunity to try and install a portable sauna close to the winter bathing site, which many resorts in the South of England, including, for instance, Dublin, have already installed. Those are the 3 basic questions.
Thank you very much, Councillor Atkinson. I'm going to ask our town clerk to give you a response.
Maybe, right. Thank you, Chair.
So those of you who were with the council prior to the elections, and I know councillor Toft is aware of a lot of the discussions we had with Wessex Water, will recall the briefing that Wessex Water attended, where they discussed their deployment of, I think they called them intelligent buoys. They're buoys that sit out and do real-time water quality monitoring. And you can look at their website and see the feedback. I'm not sure they do coliform or any of the bacterial monitoring. That takes a lot of time and things have to be grown in petri dishes, but it did things like temperature, pH, dissolved solids, etc. We were on the short list of places to receive the latest intelligent buoy. Unfortunately, another area was chosen, but we are keeping up the contact with them and continually requesting that as one of the most popular areas for year-round sea swimming, and also water quality is very important to our the tourists who come and visit Weymouth for the excellent paddling waters when you have kids. We are constantly asking that we are considered. And what I'll do is I will add into my regular communications with Jonathan, I think it is at Wessex Water, that it should be all year. And I don't see why it wouldn't once they deploy the buoy, but I will keep asking. On the subject of the bookable sauna, again, councillors who have been with the council for a little while will recall that this came forward as a proposal and was agreed. We have been approached by a company who wanted to do this. However, unfortunately, after this committee and full council agreed to give a lease for a mobile sauna to be on the seafront, the company ceased communications with us and we've been unable to re-establish communications. We know they're very successful in other areas and we are aware of other operators, and Holly, our contract and procurement officer, is actively pursuing that, and I very much hope that by the next committee meeting we'll have some good news and a positive update for you all. But I will take those comments away and I will, through the chair, through the committee, keep you updated on how our discussions with Wessex Water are going.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Councillor Atkinson, we don't normally in councillor questions have a debate. Normally, if you want a debate, you have to use it, but I understand this is your first committee meeting. I'm going to let you come back.
Thank you, Chair. I think if there isn't going to be a Wessex Water facility, I wondered whether it was worth thinking about having bacterial monitoring installed weekly basis through the winter period, which then in some way the results could be made available to people who want to go swimming. This would have cost implication on site, say near the central beach area, of about £2,500 for the season, one sample per week, with results being made known. People, sure people, even in the winter, there are more risks of overflows from storm overflows, but the central beach still remains excellent.
Thank you very much, Councillor Atkinson. I think it's probably worth definitely working with the town clerk to produce a bid services to review that sort of discussion and debate around the table. Councillor Toft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to ask if the council can approach Dorset Council about the cost of putting the fund there on the new King car park. Because when we had a fund there working group in the last council, one of the options considered and did seem favourable to the operators was going over there. And in view of that is now finished, we need to get some costing with the which isn't all viable. Thank you.
Thank you. If I come to the chairman, I'm happy to take that forward and report back on any costs. And although the agreements have been signed with the funfair operator for this year, I understand from previous conversations, it's probably worth asking them if that move is something they would be happy with for this year. So I'm more than happy to take that forward with Charmaine, the Assistant Town Clerk, when she returns, and to get some indicative costs for you. Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there any other councillor questions? No? Okay. We'll move forward to item 7 on the agenda this evening, which is public questions. I'm not notified of any pre-submitted questions this evening, but I'm aware that we have a member of the public here in the chamber. Do you have a question you'd like to ask this evening? Thank you very much. As always, for those watching us back on YouTube, I'd like to remind members of the public that you can ask a question of any committee here at Weymouth Town Council. All you need to do is email into the office, which is office@weymouthtowncouncil.gov.uk, and your question can be read on your behalf, or you can come and read it to the committee in the discussions. Moving on to item 8 this evening, which is the 2024 free parking allocations, and I'm going to ask Will Holmes, our senior resort manager, officer, resort manager.
Promoted to senior, what?
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Whatever you want, I don't know. He's got 2 years older than when he got the job, he must be more senior. Yeah, we're to introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Chair. This report is for members to approve three parking days based on the survey conducted by officers. Officers have received 11 applications for events in Weymouth, detailed in the appendix, along with the Dorset Council policy. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We also, just before we go into, for the newer members, how we tend to work in committees is before we move to a recommendation, we try and have sort of round table discussion, and all try and come up then with something that we can move forward with a recommendation together on, rather than somebody proposing something and amending it following discussion. So I'm going to open up now to the chamber to have some discussions, and then we'll come back after those discussions to try and come up with a recommendation. Have I got anyone that would like to start us off? Councillor Bear.
Yes, successful. So previously, the free parking is written down in the document, shared between Armed Forces Day, Beach Motocross, Remembrance Sunday, and the Christmas light switch on them. Many of those are really appreciated by our community, so I think they're all worthy of consideration again. Particularly the Remembrance Sunday service and parade. I think it's a major event in the town. It brings the community together, and I would certainly hope that the members would feel sort of supportive of the notion of certainly having the Remembrance service on the list. There are obviously other options to discuss, but I would like to put forward the idea that that is one of the things we move forward with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bell. Councillor O'Leary.
I think is on. No, can I just shout? Yeah, that's fine. I completely agree with the recommendation on Remembrance Sunday. I think that one is without question. I think the Christmas shoppers one is another one that's got to be a definite. Not I have anything against either of the Lions Mount Cross. I do think there probably should be another one, but I think that's the only one that's probably up to debate. Another community event, although I'm quite happy for another motocross 3 years myself. I think shoppers one in December and Remembrance Sunday have got to be a definite between the December one is the only one I would have. We could potentially change. Not that I'm saying I'm in favour. Be the most likely one to change with something like perhaps a seafood festival or the dog walking.
Thank you very much. Councillor Atkinson.
Well, I favour the ones that bring revenue into the town, particularly revenue into the town out of potential summer season. So I perhaps would favour certainly seafood festival for that reason, is perhaps people into the town on the edge of the main sort of season.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I see your hand. I'm just going to go around first of all, make sure nobody else wants to come in first, then come back around for seconds. Thanks for the top.
Mr. Chairman, I think the armed forces services parade is important because a lot of the people coming up have come from some distance and are not always in the best of health. And if we can help them by free marking, I think that would be an important consideration. Thank you.
Councillor Dickinson.
I would actually like to reiterate that, because obviously I am now very involved with that. And I've been talking to a lot of the people that are actually involved in all those things. And that was one of the issues actually, because greatest respect for a lot of the people that were involved in it, they are of an age now where it is going to have to be. There is no traffic, there's, quite frankly, that I think a lot of the people will not be as mobile as they used to.
William, did you want to come in there?
Yeah, that's okay. So, in the report, I did state that the Armed Forces Weekend has already been confirmed. So that was done through the chairman and vice chairman due to time constraints with the pre-election period and our armed forces planning. We needed to confirm that as soon as possible. So the Armed Forces Week, Sunday the 23rd, is confirmed. So that is one of the days that it's in. So it's just 3 extra that you need to decide on.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'm going to go back to Councillor O'Leary.
Oh, just press it.
Thank
Hang on, it's solid. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With account brackets about the out season thing, if you actually look at the dates, you've got the 30th of November, which is switch on, the 10th of November, which is the Remembrance service, and then you've got the 20th of October, the 13th of October, and the 5th of October and the 8th of September. So I'd say we'll try again. Weymouth Big Dog Walkies and the Weymouth 10 Road Race and the Lions Club are the 3 that most in the middle of the season. So if we narrow it down to those 3, I think where the motocross is stated that it could have sustainability issues without free parking, and the fact it is within sort of tied probably for the middle of the Queen off season, I would like to recommend the motocross for another one of those three days.
Thank you very much. Just to put some more sort of thought in myself as a member of the committee, that members, if you've looked at the impact assessments, you'll see that the environment, ecological and climate change is identified as a red, because obviously the assessment has identified that higher vehicles in to use these free parking will have a negative effect on the environment. One way we can mitigate that as a committee is look to allocate these days to organisations such as Seafood Festival, clients who want to use the car park as an event arena rather than offering free parking for the spectators of the events. So I just wanted to point that out and take consideration for the committee that if we want to try and mitigate that red and bring it into a yellow, at least that may be a way that we can take a decision as a committee, because effectively we wouldn't then be increasing vehicles into those areas because it's being used as an event location rather than a car park. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Or somebody to make a yeah, I'm going to pass over to this deputy I'm so used to Sean, sorry, I do apologise, Jane. So
You've
used-
been promoted, I've been here.
I'm so used to having Sean Ince, the assistant town clerk. Going to pass over to the town clerk who just wants to point something out, listings.
It's just a couple of pieces of clarity to bring in the appendix. You will note that it lists Wessex Folk Festival as being run by the Rotary Club. I just want to point out, because I know this is important to the Rotary Club, that that's not the case. Wessex Folk Festival is independently run, and the one that Weymouth Rotary Club do run is Fair in the Square. Both of those events bring many hundreds of people into the town, and they are free to attend. However, as your report details, it isn't possible to allocate the days to those. Fair in the Square has already happened. Wessex Folk Festival is this weekend, and with all the best will in the world, we can't make things happen that quickly. And also just some other considerations. You will note on that list that one of those is actually a business and not a purely charitable event, and that is the Dorset Seafood Festival. That is a business, it's not fully charitable. That being said, and I'm hoping Will can help me, who is it who runs Weymouth 10 Road Race? Is that a voluntary group?
Yes, not for profit.
So the only one of those that is a not-for-profit, that isn't a not-for-profit, if I can use a double negative, is the Seafood Festival. Thank you. I just think it's important to know which ones are charitable and which ones. Yeah.
I think the other thing to look at here is around some of these applications and where we may be able to use our lands for system. I don't know whether or not for you, maybe a crossover with parks, is the sea cadets, and they're looking for for the boat storage. We use elements of no garden for that instead. That's an option that we as a council could look at.
Yeah, it's certainly something I can bring up to the parks team. Obviously, it will depend on how much area they do need, because obviously the start of August it would be rather busy up there. But yeah, certainly something I can bring up to the parks team.
Okay. Councillor Bailey, with your hand raised, was that to try and make a proposal now, or it never come on?
I did make a proposal, Chairman.
Yeah, and didn't have a second, of course, so.
Unanimous.
I know, because we're gonna have it, we're gonna have a discussion and then come to make a proposal. But anyone wants to make a comment?
Was going to echo actually what Councillor O'Leary has said. I think the notion of using the shoulder periods, bring people into the town outside of the main summer season makes an awful lot of sense. And, you know, I think catering for a diverse group of our residents through those different activities. Young people catered for, older people. We've got the military community and many other communities as well. I think they're a good spread of events and hopefully supporting our local businesses in a time of year we might not have as much footfall as others. I think that was a very commendable list. The only other one I would like to raise for consideration, before any proposals move forward at this point then, would actually be on the 15th of June. The Radipole Park launch is a long-standing project of this council. Also falls outside of the full summer season, on the other side of the calendar earlier in the year. I think it's worth just having a discussion around that. Friends of Radipole Park and Gardens are very keen that we discuss that and give due consideration. It's an event they've been building up to for an awful long time. I certainly want that to just be discussed and let's just make sure we're making the right decisions and supporting our community groups. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no more general comments, so Leary, I think you indicated you'd like to make a proposal.
Right, there we go. Yeah, Chairman, I would like to propose the motocross event. The Armed Forces One's done, the Christmas light switch on for the 30th of November, and the Remembrance Sunday on the 10th of November.
Is there a seconder to those proposals?
Councillor Hayden.
Hayden, sorry. I wasn't sure if it was your hands or councillor Dickinson's.
It
There we go.
might
So, yeah.
Doing our best.
So we do have now a proposal and a seconder. I'm going to ask for comments on that. Would anyone like to make a comment on the proposal? Councillor Brown?
I believe you have to read my name.
Do you want to use this one?
Here we go.
No.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
There we go. I'm not clear what to do if I agree with some of those, but not all of them. I understand, agree.
We could take them independently. Of course, or you're more than able to make an amendment or speak against one of them now.
Well, I'm really big on remembrance and Christmas and Radical Park. If that's what I would like to vote for. Would you like me to propose?
You just propose an amendment to the.
Yeah, we can propose an amendment to the proposal, because at the moment, the recommendation we've got on the table is pretty. You can make a recommendation, but what I would tend to do there is because we've got this exception to councillor O'Leary in the seconder, I'll take the two that you agree with first, and then we'll have a vote against the third option around the chamber if members would approve of that. Yeah, I'll give an indication from the proposer and seconder. So if you're happy with that, we can take the two we agreed and then vote on the last one independent. Is there any other comments? Excellent.
I just like to say that I support the idea of the Radical Park and Gardens because it's going to be a one-off event, we're only launching it once. It'd be nice if we could get them in.
So what I'm going to do, if everyone's in agreement, we're going to take the first two first. I'm then going to open up a second conversation around the allocation of the last one for members to discuss and debate. So I'm going to stick to my original proposer and seconder, and that is to accept Remembrance Sunday and the Christmas light switch on. If members are happy with that?
Yep.
All those in favour of those two?
That is the minute.
Any against? And one abstention.
Carried for those two.
We're now going to move forward to the allocation of the third and final day. So there's now been a discussion around the Lions Weymouth Beach Motocross and the launch event, Radical Gardens. I'm now going to ask members to have a discussion on that before we move to a vote. Councillor O'Leary.
Thank you very much. The battery's off, so
Thank you. I know this is a one-off event, and this council's done an awful lot of work on that. What concerns me is, do we set precedent now, by every year allocating it to one-off events and then set certain, for instance, there could be an event in the north, for instance, that next year, and that could set a precedent, there's an event at another Logmore or something. So I'm just concerned it sets a precedent in that regard. Second one is, it's very short notice compared to the others. It's less than, it's just over 15 days. I think it's 16 days. So it doesn't give that much time for notice on that. It's already been advertised. It is still quite a walk from the Swannery to Radical Park. There is already, is it still free car parking down in the small car park?
Yeah, that is.
I was closed that day, but, there is other, other parking available. There is residential roads, sorry, whatever ward that is, across the bridge. And the other one is as well, it is once again, although it is off main season, it is still in the nice summer months. And therefore, I think we would be better placed having another free parking day in October when things are quite. bit less sort of busy as it is now. I think the car park's going to be busy in June anyway. A lot of people that are going to be benefiting from that 15th of June free car parking won't be going to Rainbow Park. They'll be going into town and other things. So therefore, I would still like to see the motocross, receive the, free parking on that day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, councillor Brown.
Hi, if we're talking about setting the precedents, I think the motocross is going to be more of a precedent if we have free parking for that, because it's an annual event. I'm quite comfortable with the idea that we use free parking for residents rather than people coming into the town. I love the idea of inviting people into the town. I think obviously we live and thrive on our tourist events, but I think it's nice to use the free parking for something that residents will use, and I'm quite comfortable with that.
Councillor Dickinson.
Okay, unfortunately, I disagree with her entirely. I know there's been a lot, yeah, 24 hours, very good. The thing is, I know there's a lot of work that's going on. And I think on this one occasion, I think we really should be supporting the reasons there. Exactly what they are trying to achieve and try and support it in any way we can. And that means giving them our part, so it should be.
Councillor Brown.
Firstly, thank you to the committee for deciding to discuss this point. I know friends around Pole Park and Gardens will be very, very grateful for that. They're both outstanding events. You know, beach motocross been going on for many years, is an incredible event, bringing an awful lot of people to the seafront. Radical Park and Gardens event, obviously we want to bring in people to enjoy those new facilities. Can we just have clarification as we move through the discussion on how the motocross use those car parking facilities? Just, we want this to be an informed decision. Can we just reiterate that point? And then I remain very torn because I want to support both, but we are limited to just the one. But I think if we make informed decisions, those are generally the better ones.
Can I ask, Will, to respond to that point? Yeah.
Yes, do you mind repeating the last one?
It's okay. It was just around how the motocross use the car parks. Is it just for car parking? Is it for storage of machinery? What is the purpose for their particular event?
So motocross use the pavilion car park as more, so it's not open to the public. It's where they have all the participants, because obviously you have a huge amount of different riders throughout the day, and it is for them to be able to get everybody in that group, get onto the beach, do the race, come back and sort of use it. It won't be for members of public to be using it, is for the event to run smooth.
You happy with that response, councillor Brown? Yeah. Is there any other comments? Not going to councillor Todd and then councillor Ridley.
I have to, I don't think I've never actually been to the beach and cross. I don't like meat. Sorry. But presumably you do make money. You are involved, so you make money. So how much of a hit is it going to be if you have to? Are you going to be down stack? I just, because if your event that people are accustomed to going to, they're going to go anyway. I just because I really do favour the.
Yeah, there's information in the report which is up on the screen. I'm trying to tread carefully because obviously play the non-pecuniary interest, but
Anybody else in the room?
yeah, but I suppose with the evidence, I could have attended the meeting and members of the public. It's early on the agenda. So I'm just going to take advice from the town clerk, if she's happy with me to respond to your question with another answer on. And then, if not, I'm going to try and find a way to answer your question.
But not.
So the town clerk has said that I can respond to this opinion. Weymouth Port and Lions Club don't charge the events. Everything is donation based. Therefore they cannot, guarantee a level of income which would meet the requirements to hire the car park. The car park, I think, £5,000 to £6,000. If you look at the figure that they raised last year, and that's not direct raise from Lions Club. There's other charities that have space at Motocross that raise money directly for themselves. The event probably isn't financially viable. Councillor Early and then Councillor Bell, and then we'll try and summarise it unless there's anything new.
Thank you, Chairman. The only other thing I'd like to say is, well, there's two things, is we've already just Councillor Todd touched on it, is the financial viability of this event going forward. This does bring an awful lot of people into Weymouth, but also a number of my residents and more, enjoy this event every year. If it stops this year, is there then a danger, as we've seen with other events in the past, that it not coming back next year? So I think for the future of this event, which does put Weymouth on the map for this time of year, there's not a lot going on elsewhere. I think it would put it at risk and would be a big loss to the town in that regard. This Radical Park event is what it's, is a one-off, I'm afraid, it is a one-off celebration. There's wonderful community events going on all around. In my ward, we don't pay for parking in most of my, there is some park. But I think it does then once again set a precedent. This becoming about individual community events when it should be around the wider benefit of the town.
Councillor Bell, and then unless there's anybody else, we're going to move to it.
So as I've already stated, I'm very, very torn on this. We're putting an event in jeopardy that is enjoyed by large numbers of our residents. One can run without free car parking. One, it sounds, is not viable without it. On that basis, and with great regret, as a ward member for the Radical area in Longmore, I wish we had an extra day, but we don't. And I would hate to see an event be lost based on a decision made in this chamber this evening. So with regret, I think I will be voting, not with regret, supporting the Beach Road Motocross, but with regret that I can't also support the Radical event.
Okay. I'm going to take the original proposers here, if I can. So, depending which way the vote goes, so we've got a proposal, Councillor O'Leary and is it Hayter? Yeah, do apologise. And then for Beach Motocross, and with a proposal from Councillor Bound for it to be discussed. So are you happy still to second?
Change my mind as well. I think it's
So what we're doing, we will still take a vote to show. And then we can work on it. And so, all those in favour of the launch event, show hands.
I don't do the only one. I'm not bowed down.
That's one. Those for the Weymouth Beach Motocross, show hands. And abstentions. So that is carried. I suppose now just to tidy things up for Nikki, because we the proposer and seconder. Take them as a block and a recommendation. Stick with the original proposer and seconder. All those in favour of appointment of those 3 days. So let's not unanimous. 9 against. And abstentions. 1. Thank you very much. Maybe that will work for Nikki. Thank you very much, Will. Will, I think that was it on the agenda for you, wasn't it? So feel free to enjoy your evening. Item 9 on the agenda is working groups. I'm going to ask the town clerk Introduce, please.
Thank you, Chair. Councillors, I won't take you through all the detail within the item on the agenda. I know you will all have read it and I am happy to answer any questions. The officer recommendation is for you to postpone allocation of any additional working groups. You will recall that at full council, the CEE working group was stood up, as was the neighbourhood plan working group. But it's an officer recommendation that there are no further working groups put in place until the priorities of the council and this committee are better defined and agreed. A similar report will be going to Finance and Governance. They will be being asked to stand up one working group, that is the grants working group, which is required by the grants policy before any grants can be allocated. I'm going to respond to any questions or for councillors to put forward.
Can I just ask for a point of clarity? So you're saying that the CEE working group is still continuing?
Yes.
Is there any comments to this? Councillor Bell?
Someone speaking in support of the officer recommendation, I think it makes complete sense. Gives us the time to think about what we want to achieve, what our targets are, and how we meet. So I think the officer recommendation is a good one. I'll leave it for further discussion for now, but
Is there any other comments? If not, we'll move forward with a proposal. I'm happy to propose the officer recommendation as written in the paper. Is there a second? Councillor Bell. Any comments on that recommendation? You're a bit slow there.
Yeah.
You're normally quicker off the line.
First time in the West.
You've already got it for the record, the most second. Okay, move, there's no comments. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Moving forward to item 10 on the agenda this evening, which is champion roles. And again, I'm going to hand over to the town clerk to introduce it.
Thank you, Chair. Similar to the previous item, I won't go through the detail on champions. It lists the champions that you have already agreed as part of your work with the full council. And the officer recommendation regarding champions is slightly different. Although it is the officer recommendation to postpone nomination of further champion roles until the priorities of the council and this committee are better defined and agreed. But it is suggested by officers that there is a youth champion nominated, and that would need to be approved finally by full council. Officer recommendation came about because the work of the youth council would benefit from a youth champion link to a specific named councillor to support them in their work. Whilst the youth council lead the youth work in the council, having that link will just enable them to discuss ideas with someone who is focused on this. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any comments? Councillor O'Leary?
Yes, while I support the nomination of a youth champion, I think. That's well. While nomination of a youth champion is important and, you know, people are, I think something else we need to think about that would be something for the elderly. We do have a number of youth in this, and there are issues of isolation, loneliness, and other things that affect elderly people. So, while we're all for young people and people describe me as a young person once, I think we should look at what's important.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Leary. I actually believe that's the points you've made there are definitely important, but they are becoming covered by our current community champion. And I think the reason to need to personally to split into youth champion is because we've got the youth council that need to link into the council, and that's been identified recently. Youth council meeting where we're trying to get them working more closely with the council and having influence on our agendas, as well as moving their suggestions forward with the council. Councillor O'Leary.
I attended, town council meetings before I was a town councillor in Market. And I don't think I ever saw an update in regards to the community champion role. Can we get a regular update at full council about what the community champion has been up to, as well as the other champions? I know that Councillor Young's role is more of an official capacity and is not so easy, but I'd also like to see one from the armed forces champion, because I don't think the previous one gave a regular update. Maybe wrong. I'll crucify it if you want to.
Rather you than me, councillor O'Leary. I think that's, the town clerk thinks it's a very good idea, and so do I, and we could probably build that into a part of the recommendation here. Council requests an update on full, it's only got to be written. There's information, so we can definitely include that as part of the recommendation moving forward tonight. Councillor Bell?
I was just going to speak in support of the recommendation and propose it.
I'm not going to move forward with that proposal seconds until I'll make sure there's nobody else that wants to speak. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on the agenda? Councillor Taylor?
Yeah, just in regard to what Councillor O'Leary, what Councillor O'Leary set up for the community.
Oh, yeah, stop.
One of the, yeah, well, it's one of the champions I absolutely recommend that we should report back in our board to the biggest ones.
Okay. Anybody else? So. So the recommendations, going forward from this committee, I've been on discussions and comments from Councillor O'Leary, would be to stick with the officer recommendations as printed. Further recommendation under C, which I believe is drafted behind me.
And I've just clarified, to nominate the youth champion position rather than a named person.
Yeah, so with the appointment of the champion will be made at full council for the rest of the champions, so that anyone.
I'm aware a number of councillors have attended the youth council.
Is there any comments then around what's on the board, councillor Bell?
Just to say, I'm happy to include that in the proposal.
Is there any other comments before we move forward to a proposal? I'm looking for a proposal for, as written up on the board, which includes C. So I mentioned the word proposal 6 times, I think. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Atkinson. Any comments on that proposal? We'll move forward with the vote. All those in favour?
That's unanimous, Chair.
Thank you very much. We move forward to item 11 on the agenda. Normally I'm quite stern with this to say that they're information items and they are for noting. We do encourage that any councillors have got questions, really submit them in writing, so we can make sure that you've got an answer at the committee. However, understanding that we have new members here this evening, I am going to ask you that is there any questions on any of the information items? If we get able to answer this evening, we will, or we will at the appropriate officer. Councillor O'Leary.
On the item Livermore skate park, can I just ask if there'll be any consultation, in particular with local young people, designed for that? You know, that's that who will primarily be using it, and we have a youth. We have a youth drop in on the other side of the estate, so it'd be quite good if they could be involved in any progress or any plans in regards to the skate park. I'm happy to have an answer, and I may not want to write in. I don't want to answer tonight, but if someone can give me that in writing. Yeah, let's go.
I can probably give you the answer. The town clerk that's eager to, so if I miss anything. I think at the moment, Councillor O'Leary, obviously the notice of motion forward was to come back to this committee with an estimated cost of what would be required. If committee then goes down the route of saying, yes, we want to go forward with this, then we'll go for a full consultation, which will involve local people, much as the Western one did. So we're community engagement as well as engagement from experts to make sure that we get the best facility for our residents. And it will be in the minutes, or you can have that also in writing from the officers. Is there any other questions there? The only thing I would like to highlight again, more for anyone watching on YouTube, is to take note of our scheduled activities for the D-Day celebration events. Councillor Dickinson, is there anything you want to highlight with that with your community champion?
Thank you. Put me on the spot. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to say to that actually, because obviously I'm very, very new to it. I have been in contact with a lot of the people that are going to be involved on British Legion, for one particular person. A lot of the veterans, i.e. the Aidan veterans and all of those kinds of organisations, they want to be involved as well. I was at a bit of a loss as how to explain to them, because obviously there's certain things going around the towns that are going on, but I was mindful that especially the one at the know is actually only sort of going to be a certain amount of people are allowed in at any given time. And that was incredibly difficult because obviously they want to invite people, especially the Aidan veterans who want to invite people from Plymouth and Gloucester, where other veteran organisations are. They want to invite them down to Dorset, mainly because this is going to be a main event, because obviously a lot of the D-Day people went from Weymouth. So I would like some advice on that really, because I don't really want to say, no, you can't invite them. And they're not going to be allowed into the know, because I spoke to Will yesterday and he informed me that, you know, there was a limited amount of people. So I would like some suggestions really on how I approach that with these organisations, because I don't want to be my first month saying, no, you can't come, you know, it made it a bit difficult for me. That advice, please.
And Mark?
Thank you, Chair. I think it's absolutely wonderful that other veterans organisations want to be a part of the D-Day remembrance and commemoration and wider events. I understand that 70% of the tickets have gone, but there's still 30% remaining. And if the Aidan veterans want to go online and book some tickets, they can do that. It's free, yeah. So all they need to do is to get people to book the ticket, and they'd be more than welcome. We think it's wonderful that there's a holistic approach to the D-Day commemoration. And convey that. Thank you.
The assistant, again, apologies. The town clerk, Anthony Elson.
Thank you. I'm going to go and get my wig and my gown in a minute, just to avoid all confusion. Just to let you know, I've popped up on the screen the schedule of events. Unfortunately, due to the tragic events recently with the memorial flypast, the flypast will not be happening. We send our condolences to everybody involved in that sad occurrence, and we do hope that the memorial flight will be back soon.
Thank you very much. I think the other thing, just on that, there's obviously activities happening in No Gardens as well that is not ticketed and open. And I'm wondering, Will, if we can look, the No Force allocated tickets, will they also be counting numbers in and out, so that if there is additional people that want to come through the slot, they could possibly they've got a clicker, so they don't reach their capacity for their insurances and blah blah, that they could let additional in that booked in from the gardens, the garden activities also, if you could take that question away. Yeah, or you can answer.
So, speaking of the note report and then looking in the back office system for the tickets, they do have a maximum number that is capacity in the note report for their risk assessment. However, they do understand that not everybody will attend because is a free ticket, so people may have other engagements. They have increased the ticket availability for all the slots. So in theory, there's more tickets out there than what they should have, because they aren't anticipating every single person who's out the tickets. There are still tickets available, and myself and the team will be there all day. People can't get in, and we can certainly be quite dynamic on the day.
It's good news to hear. They're really sort of flexible with that approach this year. Anyone else on the information items? If not, we'll move on to item 12. And which is the close of the meeting, so hopefully this will be the last one, Councillor Bell, that I have to close. But no, thank you very much everyone for attendance and input this evening. I look forward to all year these sorts of discussions and hopefully making sure that we deliver the best with our services for Weymouth.